The Awakening. The cold silence of space enveloped the massive military vessel, humanity's shield, as it drifted aimlessly through the cosmos, a relic of a bygone era. Inside, within rows of sleek, metallic pods, lay the sleeping forms of humanity's last defenders, preserved in cryo-sleep for what was intended to be a mere millennium. But time had played a cruel trick. 1,000,000 years had passed since they had closed their eyes, waiting for a gamma radiation burst to pass, a threat long gone, yet they were still here, suspended in time. As systems hummed back to life, Commander Ilara Voss felt consciousness returning like a distant signal breaking through static. The familiar yet alien sounds filled her ears, drawing her from her slumber. She blinked slowly as her pod hissed open, releasing a waft of cool air that smelled faintly metallic. Her body felt heavy, sluggish from disuse, but she pushed herself upright, her mind racing to comprehend her surroundings. "Status report," she croaked, her voice rough from disuse. The ship's AI responded instantly, its tone devoid of emotion yet tinged with urgency. Primary mission parameters exceeded by factor of 1,000. Current date, 3047 AD, 1,000 years since initial stasis. Ship integrity at 82%. Crew survival rate, 63%. 1,000,000 years. Ilara's heart sank as she processed this information. They had only planned for 1,000-year sleep, something had gone terribly wrong, or perhaps it had gone terribly right. She steadied herself against the edge of her pod as other chambers began to hiss open around her, revealing fellow crew members awakening from their long slumber. "Commander," Dr. Felix Armitage spoke up first, his voice trembling with disbelief as he stepped out into the dim light that filled their chamber. "The stars, they're wrong." Ilara followed his gaze to the observation dome where stars twinkled like distant memories against a backdrop of swirling nebulae. Familiar constellations were missing, others had shifted positions entirely. It was an alien sky, one that spoke of eons passing in their absence. "Full scan of local space," she ordered, her voice gaining strength as adrenaline coursed through her veins. "Warning," the AI replied promptly. "Unknown technology detected. Artificial structures present in 97% of surveyed systems. Energy signatures indicate civilization type B, a development." Before anyone could respond further, an unexpected presence filled the chamber, not through speakers but directly within their minds, a voice that resonated like music woven into fabric. "Welcome, ancestors. We have been waiting." Ilara's breath caught in her throat as she turned to face this being that stood among them, a creature formed from shimmering crystal and radiant light. It was both beautiful and terrifying, like an equation made flesh. "Identify yourself," Ilara demanded, instinctively reaching for a weapon that had long since crumbled to dust in this timeless void. "We are known as Nexus," it replied, its form shifting slightly as if trying to convey emotion beyond mere words. "We are the crystalline consensus, the inheritors of governance across this galaxy after your ascension." Ilara's mind raced at this revelation. Humanity's descendants had evolved beyond physical form into beings that transcended time itself. But what did it mean for them? What happened to humanity? Dr. Armitage asked, stepping forward with scientific curiosity overcoming his initial fear. Nexus projected images into the air around them, visions that unfolded like pages from an ancient tome, showing how humanity had evolved over millennia into beings made purely of energy and thought, how they spread across galaxies seeding new forms of life and consciousness. But now, Nexus continued with an undertone that sent shivers down Ilara's spine. "The galaxy faces a threat that requires something only you possess, the original human drive for survival." Ilara exchanged glances with her crew, soldiers turned scientists now awakened to a reality far more complex than they could have imagined. "How long do we have?" she asked urgently. "The Devourers will reach your core systems within 1 standard year," Nexus replied gravely. "We must prepare." As Ilara looked out through the observation dome once more at this vast universe now teeming with unknowns, the crystalline ships approaching them glimmering like stars brought back to life, she knew one thing: they hadn't slept for 1,000,000 years just to watch everything fall apart again. "Wake the rest of the crew," she commanded firmly. "Begin weapons diagnostics. We didn't sleep through eons just to become relics ourselves." With determination ignited within her heart like a supernova ready to burst forth into existence once more, Elara turned back towards Nexus. "Tell us everything you know about these devourers." Legacy of Stars. The humanity's shield glided silently through the remnants of an ancient human outpost, a colossal structure built into a massive asteroid. The station had endured the ravages of time remarkably well, its surfaces reflecting the distant light of stars that had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. Commander Elara Voss stood at the observation deck, her gaze fixed on the intricate designs of the facility. It was a testament to human ingenuity, a relic from an era when humanity had reached for the stars with both ambition and caution. "Remarkable," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "This place has survived for nearly 1,000,000 years." Nexus, the crystalline being that had guided them thus far, floated beside her, its form shimmering with an ethereal glow. "Indeed, Commander. This facility has remained stable due to the quantum-locked materials your civilization developed. It is a marvel of engineering." Dr. Felix Armitage, their chief scientist, was already at work, fingers flying over a console that still responded to human touch despite its age. "The systems are still active," he exclaimed, his eyes wide with disbelief. "But they've evolved. The code is alive." A warm presence entered the chamber, a swirling cloud of golden energy that took on a vaguely humanoid shape. "We left many gifts for you," it said, its voice soothing yet powerful. "Though we hoped you would never need to use them." Elara recognized the energy pattern from Nexus's earlier projections. This being was indeed one of humanity's descendants. "Why didn't you wake us sooner?" she asked, her curiosity piqued. The energy being rippled in response. "What we need from you would have been lost if you had awakened too early. Your minds, your instincts, your way of thinking, needed to remain unchanged." Dr. Emily Chen, the ship's quantum physicist, stepped forward with urgency in her voice. "Show us. Show us everything." As if responding to her plea, the chamber darkened momentarily before images began to materialize in mid-air, visions that unfolded like pages from an ancient tome. The crew watched in horror as entire star systems vanished into what appeared to be tears in space itself. "They're not just consuming matter," Emily whispered in disbelief. "They're consuming reality itself." "Correct," echoed the energy being, pulsing with intensity. "We evolved to transcend physical form, but in doing so, we lost something crucial, the ability to think in terms of physical limitations. The Devourers operate on principles we can no longer comprehend." Elara's heart raced as she processed this information. They were not just facing a conventional enemy, they were up against entities that could tear apart the very fabric of existence. "But we can understand physical weaknesses," Elara asserted, determination igniting within her. She turned to her crew, soldiers and scientists alike, who had once fought for survival on Earth and now stood as humanity's last hope. "That's why you kept us in stasis," she continued, realization dawning upon her. "We're not just survivors, we are weapons." Nexus brightened at her words. "More than weapons, you are the bridge between what humanity was and what it has become." "Show us what you have," Elara commanded. Nexus led them to a sealed chamber deep within the outpost. Inside lay suits of armor unlike anything they had ever seen, crafted from quantum-locked materials and integrated with crystalline technology, infused with energy that seemed alive. "Hybridized technology," Dr. Armitage breathed in awe. "Combining all three evolutionary paths, human, crystalline, and energy. This armor is just the beginning," Nexus added with urgency. "This station contains everything you'll need to teach us how to fight as you once did." Elara ran her hand over one of the suits reverently. How many other outposts like this exist? 17, replied the energy being. Each containing different aspects of human military knowledge preserved and evolved by our living code. But only your original human minds can unlock their full potential, Nexus reminded them. Then we better get started, Elara declared resolutely. As her crew began integrating with their hybrid armor, Elara gazed through the viewport at the distant stars, some flickering with life while others lay silent and cold. Somewhere out there, reality itself was being torn apart by beings that believed themselves unstoppable. They didn't count on facing an enemy that combines humanity's warrior spirit with advanced technology, she thought as hope surged within her. As they donned their new armors, each piece fitting seamlessly into place, Elara felt a sense of purpose rekindle within her heart. They were no longer mere remnants of humanity, they were warriors reborn. Prepare for training exercises, she ordered firmly as they moved about the chamber like knights from some impossible future. The ancient station hummed with power as long-dormant systems activated around them, a symphony of machinery coming back to life after eons of silence. Commander, Dr. Armitage called out suddenly from his console, his voice tinged with excitement and urgency. There's something else here, something even the energy beings don't know about. What do you mean? Elara asked as she approached him. The living code, it's been working on something all this time, he explained breathlessly. Evolving, creating. Elara frowned in confusion but felt an undeniable pull toward this revelation, a thread woven into their fate that might hold answers they desperately needed. Show me, she urged him. As Dr. Armitage manipulated controls on his console, holographic displays illuminated their surroundings once more, a flurry of data swirling around them like galaxies forming anew. Look here, he pointed excitedly at a series of complex algorithms interlaced with historical records from humanity's past battles against existential threats. This code has been analyzing every conflict humanity faced throughout history, he explained as images flashed across their view, battles won and lost, strategies employed, sacrifices made, lessons learned. It's been evolving our understanding of warfare, adapting our responses based on what it learned from us over millennia. Elara felt a rush of exhilaration mixed with trepidation as she considered what this meant for their fight against the Devourers. If we can harness this knowledge, she began slowly, envisioning possibilities unfolding before her eyes like stars igniting in darkness. We could reclaim our place among the stars. Dr. Armitage finished for her, his enthusiasm infectious. Nexus floated closer, its crystalline form shimmering brightly as if sensing their renewed hope. Then let us begin this journey together, to forge a legacy worthy of both our pasts and our futures. With newfound determination coursing through them like electricity igniting dormant stars into life, Elara turned back toward her crew, the last remnants of humanity readying themselves for battle against an unimaginable threat that sought to consume all existence itself. Let's show them what it means to be human, she called out passionately as they prepared for training exercises that would blend ancient wisdom with cutting-edge technology, a fusion destined to carve their mark upon history once more. As they began their preparations within this ancient sanctuary, a place where time had stood still, they knew one thing. They were not merely fighting for survival anymore, they were fighting for legacy, for every soul that had come before them and every one yet to be born among the stars. The gathering storm. The war room of the Humanities Shield pulsed with holographic displays, each one a testament to the impending doom that loomed over the galaxy. Commander Elara Voss stood at the center, her hybrid armor integrating seamlessly with the ship's ancient systems, a fusion of past and future. Around her, representatives from various species filled the chamber, crystalline beings, energy forms, and others more alien still. The atmosphere was thick with tension, a palpable sense of urgency as they prepared to confront the Devourers. The Devourers have consumed 3 gateway systems in the past month, reported a beam of living plasma, its voice crackling like solar flares. Our conventional defenses are useless against them. Elara nodded, her mind racing as she studied the three-dimensional map of the galaxy projected before her. Red zones marked reality tiers where the devourers had broken through, each one a reminder of their relentless advance. Dr. Felix Armitage manipulated the map with precision, highlighting critical areas that needed immediate attention. "Show me the pattern again," Elara ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. The map shifted, revealing something they had missed before. "They're not random," Dr. Emily Chen announced, her quantum calculations floating in mid-air around her like shimmering stars. "The Devourers are targeting systems with specific quantum signatures. They're following the path of least resistance between dimensions. Which means we can predict where they'll strike next," Elara concluded, a spark of hope igniting within her. The energy being known as Echo pulsed with excitement. "But knowing hasn't helped us stop them." "No," Elara agreed, "but it gives us something else, the ability to set a trap." She turned to Nexus, who floated nearby with an air of determination. "Your people can manipulate quantum states on a stellar scale. What if we gave the Devourers exactly what they're looking for?" Understanding rippled through Nexus's crystalline form as it processed her words. "We could create a false quantum signature," it suggested, its voice resonating with newfound purpose. "Make them think they found an easy way to break through." Dr. Armitage stepped forward, his hybrid armor displaying weapon schematics that glimmered with potential. The ancient human weapons aboard this ship were designed to deliver massive energy payloads. If we combine them with crystalline focusing technology and the pure energy forms our descendants can generate, we could create a cascade effect, Emily finished, her eyes alight with excitement. When they try to tear through reality, we turn their own dimensional breach against them. A new figure entered the war room, a being made of what looked like living shadow. Its form barely visible except where it blocked out the stars. It was one of the Void Dancers who had been fighting the Devourers longer than anyone else. "Your plan has merit," it whispered, its voice like wind through empty space. "But the energy required would be astronomical. Even with all our combined technologies, we cannot generate that kind of power." Elara smiled at this challenge, she had anticipated it. "That's where you're wrong." She gestured toward a new hologram that appeared, a map of 17 human outposts spread across the galaxy. These stations weren't just preserving human military knowledge, they're power collectors, she explained passionately. They've been gathering energy for 1,000,000 years. The revelation sent waves of excitement through their assembled allies. The crystalline consensus had always wondered why their inherited stations contained such massive energy reserves. Now they knew humanity had prepared for this long before they even knew what was coming. "We'll need time to set this up," Elara continued, her tone serious as she surveyed their faces filled with hope and determination. "And we'll need to defend the outposts until we're ready. The Devourers can't know what we're planning." The shadow being rippled in agreement. "The Void Dancers will guard your western stations, we know their movements better than any. The energy collectives will maintain the quantum signatures," Echo added confidently. "We can make the trap irresistible." Nexus's crystalline form pulsed with determination as it spoke next. "Our ships will escort yours as you connect the outposts, your hybrid technology is key to making this work." Elara looked around at her allies, beings she could scarcely have imagined fighting alongside just days before, and felt a surge of pride swell within her chest. 1,000,000 years ago, humanity had faced extinction and chosen to preserve themselves until they were needed again. Now they were fighting alongside beings from across the galaxy using technologies that merged their best attributes. "We have 3 months before they reach the core systems," she announced decisively. "That's 3 months to turn 17 points of light into the biggest trap ever created." As her allies dispersed to begin their preparations, Dr. Armitage approached Elara privately, his expression serious. "Commander," he said quietly, glancing around to ensure no one else was listening. "There's something else in these outposts, something even the energy beings don't know about." Elara raised an eyebrow, intrigued by his words as he handed her a prompt on his console. "Show me," she urged him. As he displayed the information on screen, Elara felt an unsettling mixture of excitement and apprehension wash over her, a new layer of complexity unfolding in their already intricate plans. The data revealed snippets of code interwoven with historical records from humanity's past battles against existential threats, an evolving algorithm that seemed almost sentient in its quest for knowledge and adaptation. "It's been working on something all this time, evolving, creating," Dr. Armitage explained breathlessly. "What do you mean?" Elara asked, leaning closer to scrutinize the information displayed before her. "It appears that during our stasis," he continued cautiously, "the living code has been analyzing every conflict humanity faced throughout history, learning from our successes and failures alike." Elara's heart raced as she considered what this meant for their fight against the Devourers, a potential game-changer that could tip the scales in their favor. "If we can harness this knowledge," she began slowly but was interrupted by Echo's voice resonating through their minds. "Then you will not only reclaim your legacy but also redefine what it means to be human in this new era." With renewed determination coursing through them like electricity igniting dormant stars into life once more, Elara turned back toward her crew, the last remnants of humanity readying themselves for battle against an unimaginable threat that sought to consume all existence itself. "We stand at a precipice," she declared passionately as everyone gathered around her once again in unity and purpose, a collective heartbeat echoing throughout their war room filled with hope and resolve. "Together we will forge our destiny. We will show them what it means to be human." As cheers erupted around her, the sound reverberating off walls that had witnessed eons pass, Elara felt an unbreakable bond forming among them all, a connection forged not just by blood but by shared purpose and unwavering resolve to protect everything they held dear. In those moments filled with camaraderie and determination, their hearts beating as one, they knew they were not merely fighting for survival anymore, they were fighting for legacy, for every soul that had come before them and every one yet to be born among the stars. With plans set into motion and hope rekindled within each heart present in that war room, the stage was set for an epic confrontation against forces beyond comprehension, a gathering storm ready to unleash its fury upon those who dared threaten existence itself. The first strike. The atmosphere aboard the Humanity's shield was charged with anticipation as the crew prepared for their first offensive against the Devourers. In the war room, holographic displays illuminated the faces of the gathered officers, their expressions a mix of determination and anxiety. Elara Voss stood at the forefront, her hybrid armor gleaming under the artificial lights, a symbol of humanity's resilience and adaptability. "Today, we reclaim our legacy," Elara declared, her voice resonating through the chamber. "We've spent weeks preparing for this moment. The time has come to put our plan into action." Dr. Felix Armitage stepped forward, his fingers dancing over the controls of a holographic console. "Our allies have successfully established quantum signatures at each outpost. The Devourers are already moving toward them, believing they've found an easy target." Elara nodded, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and dread. "We need to ensure that our trap is set perfectly. Once they breach our defenses, we'll unleash everything we have." As they finalized their strategies, a shadowy figure entered the room, the void dancer known as Kale. Its form flickered like a dying star, barely holding its shape in the light. "Our scouts report that the Devourers are approaching faster than anticipated," it warned, its voice echoing ominously. "They are aware of something amiss." "Then we must act quickly," Elara replied sharply. "Prepare our ships for launch. We'll create a diversion to draw them in." The crew sprang into action, adrenaline fueling their movements as they donned their armor and took their positions at their stations. Elara felt a surge of pride as she watched her team, scientists turned soldiers, ready themselves for battle. "Remember," she called out as they moved to their respective consoles, "we're not just fighting for survival, we're fighting for our legacy and for every soul that came before us." As the Humanity's shield powered up its engines, Elara took one last look at the holographic map displaying the galaxy's layout. The red zones marked by the Devourer's advance glowed ominously, but within those zones lay their opportunity. Launch sequence initiated, Dr. Armitage announced, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. With a powerful thrust, the ship propelled itself toward the targeted outpost, a location chosen specifically for its strategic significance and proximity to the Devourer's predicted path. As they approached, Elara felt her heart pounding in rhythm with the ship's engines. The stars outside blurred into streaks of light as they entered hyperspace, a momentary escape from the reality that awaited them. The outpost, a crucial battleground. Moments later, they emerged from hyperspace near the outpost, a massive structure built into an asteroid belt that shimmered like a beacon in the darkness. Holographic projections displayed energy readings indicating that their trap was set. Now all they had to do was wait. Deploy drones to monitor incoming signatures, Elara commanded. We need to know exactly when they arrive. As drones launched from the humanity's shield, Elara took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. She could feel the weight of history pressing down upon them. Their ancestors had fought for survival against unimaginable odds. Now it was their turn. Commander, Dr. Emily Chen interjected urgently as data streamed across her console. I'm detecting multiple energy signatures approaching rapidly, at least 5 Devourer ships. Elara's pulse quickened as she exchanged glances with her crew. This was it, their moment had arrived. Prepare weapon systems, she ordered firmly. We'll engage them as soon as they breach our defenses. The first encounter. The tension in the war room was palpable as everyone held their breath, waiting for confirmation of contact with the enemy. The drones relayed images of massive ships emerging from folds in space, dark and ominous vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They're here. Dr. Armitage shouted as he monitored incoming data streams. Elara felt a rush of adrenaline surge through her veins as she activated her armor's combat systems. All hands. Engage at will. As alarms blared throughout the ship, Elara led her crew into battle positions on the bridge while energy beams erupted from their weapon systems toward the encroaching Devourers. The first shots rang out like thunderclaps in space, the energy beams striking true against one of the Devourer ships and causing it to shudder violently before retaliating with tendrils of dark energy that lashed out toward them. Brace for impact. Elara shouted as she steadied herself against her console. The ship rocked under fire but held firm, the ancient design proving resilient against this new threat. As chaos erupted around them, Elara focused on her objectives: maintain control and draw them deeper into their trap. Redirect power to shields, she commanded urgently. We need to keep them engaged while we prepare for Phase 2. Turning the tide. As more Devourer ships joined the fray, it became clear that this would not be an easy fight. However, Elara felt an unwavering resolve within her team, a determination forged from centuries of struggle and sacrifice. Now, she shouted as one of their drones signaled that enough energy had been accumulated at the outpost. With precision timing, Elara activated their trap. An immense pulse of energy surged outward from multiple points across the asteroid field, creating an artificial rift in reality that drew in anything nearby. The Devourers hesitated for just a moment before being pulled inexorably toward this new phenomenon, an opportunity that had been carefully orchestrated by their combined efforts. Fire everything. Elara commanded fiercely as beams of energy erupted from every weapon system on board humanity's shield. Their shots struck true. One Devourer ship was caught in mid-breach and disintegrated under concentrated firepower while others became ensnared within swirling tendrils of energy emanating from the rift. We're doing it. Dr. Chen exclaimed triumphantly as more enemy vessels succumbed to their trap. But just as victory seemed within reach, a massive shadow fell over them. A colossal Devourer ship emerged from behind its smaller counterparts, dwarfing everything around it. This isn't over yet, Kale warned ominously from his position near Elara's side. Elara steeled herself against this new threat. They had come too far to falter now. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We need to buy time until we can finish what we started. A glimmer of hope. As humanity's shield weaved through incoming fire and debris from destroyed devourer ships, Elara felt hope flickering like a distant star within her heart, the realization that they were not merely surviving but fighting back against an enemy long thought invincible. With each passing moment, more energy surged through their systems. Every shot fired brought them closer to victory against overwhelming odds, a testament to humanity's indomitable spirit and ingenuity. "We can do this!" Dr. Armitage shouted over comms as he continued firing at approaching enemies while coordinating maneuvers with other allied ships joining in support. Elara glanced around at her crew, each face reflecting determination forged by countless struggles throughout history, and knew deep down that together they could reclaim not just their legacy but also redefine what it meant to be human among stars once more. "Let's finish this," she roared defiantly as they prepared for one final push, a strike meant not only to defeat these foes but also send ripples across galaxies echoing tales of resilience and hope. As energy surged through every weapon system aboard humanity's shield, Elara Voss felt alive with purpose. The first strike had begun, but it would not be merely an act of survival, it would be humanity's resurgence. Humanity's resurgence. The humanity's shield hung in the void, its hull shimmering under the distant light of stars, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos of the galaxy. Inside, the atmosphere was electric with anticipation as Elara Voss and her crew prepared for what would be the defining moment of their existence. They had spent weeks strategizing, training, and integrating their hybrid technology with ancient human designs. Now, it was time to put everything they had learned into action. Status report. Elara commanded as she took her place at the command console, her heart racing with adrenaline. "Energy levels at maximum," Dr. Felix Armitage replied, his fingers flying over the controls. "All systems are ready for deployment." "Prepare to initiate the trap," Elara ordered, her voice steadied despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. "We need to lure the devourers in and hit them hard." As they awaited the enemy's approach, Elara reflected on how far they had come. 1,000,000 years in stasis had transformed them from relics of a bygone era into warriors equipped with knowledge and technology that combined humanity's past with its future. They were no longer just survivors, they were defenders of existence itself. The calm before the storm. Outside, darkness enveloped the ship as it drifted through space. The holographic displays flickered with data streams, showing the movements of the devourers as they closed in on their target, the false quantum signature that would lead them to their doom. "Commander," Dr. Emily Chen reported, her voice tinged with excitement and anxiety. "The devourers are approaching faster than we anticipated. They've detected our quantum signature." Elara felt a surge of adrenaline course through her veins. "Hold your positions. We're ready for them." As they waited, she could see her crew, each one clad in their hybrid armor, focused and determined. They were no longer just remnants of humanity, they were a force to be reckoned with. "Remember your training," Elara reminded them, her voice firm yet encouraging. "We've studied their tactics, learned from our ancestors' mistakes. We know how to fight back." The tension in the war room was palpable as everyone held their breath, waiting for confirmation of contact with the enemy. The first contact. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship as sensors detected multiple energy signatures approaching rapidly. The holographic displays showed massive devourer ships emerging from folds in space, dark vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. "They're here!" Dr. Armitage shouted as he monitored incoming data streams. "Engage defensive protocols," Elara commanded fiercely. "Prepare to fire on my mark." The crew sprang into action as energy beams erupted from their weapon systems toward the encroaching devourers. The first shots rang out like thunderclaps in space, the energy beams striking true against one of the devourer ships and causing it to shudder violently before retaliating with tendrils of dark energy that lashed out toward them. "Brace for impact," Elara shouted as she steadied herself against her console. The ship rocked under fire but held firm, the ancient design proving resilient against this new threat. As chaos erupted around them, Elara focused on her objectives: maintain control and draw them deeper into their trap. Redirect power to shields, she commanded urgently. We need to keep them engaged while we prepare for Phase 2. Turning point. As more Devourer ships joined the fray, it became clear that this would not be an easy fight. However, Elara felt an unwavering resolve within her team, a determination forged from centuries of struggle and sacrifice. Now, she shouted as one of their drones signaled that enough energy had been accumulated at the outpost. With precision timing, Elara activated their trap. An immense pulse of energy surged outward from multiple points across the asteroid field, creating an artificial rift in reality that drew in anything nearby. The Devourers hesitated for just a moment before being pulled inexorably toward this new phenomenon, an opportunity that had been carefully orchestrated by their combined efforts. Fire everything! Elara commanded fiercely as beams of energy erupted from every weapon system on board humanity's shield. Their shots struck true. One Devourer ship was caught in mid-breach and disintegrated under concentrated firepower, while others became ensnared within swirling tendrils of energy emanating from the rift. "We're doing it!" Dr. Chen exclaimed triumphantly as more enemy vessels succumbed to their trap. But just as victory seemed within reach, a massive shadow fell over them. A colossal Devourer ship emerged from behind its smaller counterparts, dwarfing everything around it. "This isn't over yet," Kale warned ominously from his position near Elara's side. Elara steeled herself against this new threat. They had come too far to falter now. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. We need to buy time until we can finish what we started." A new hope. As humanity's shield weaved through incoming fire and debris from destroyed Devourer ships, Elara felt hope flickering like a distant star within her heart, the realization that they were not merely surviving but fighting back against an enemy long thought invincible. With each passing moment, more energy surged through their systems. Every shot fired brought them closer to victory against overwhelming odds, a testament to humanity's indomitable spirit and ingenuity. "We can do this!" Dr. Armitage shouted over comms as he continued firing at approaching enemies while coordinating maneuvers with other allied ships joining in support. Elara glanced around at her crew, each face reflecting determination forged by countless struggles throughout history, and knew deep down that together they could reclaim not just their legacy but also redefine what it meant to be human in this new era. "Let's finish this," she roared defiantly as they prepared for one final push. A strike meant not only to defeat these foes but also send ripples across galaxies echoing tales of resilience and hope. As energy surged through every weapon system aboard humanity's shield, Elara Voss felt alive with purpose. The first strike had begun, but it would not be merely an act of survival, it would be humanity's resurgence. The aftermath. As the battle raged on around them, Elara felt a renewed sense of purpose guiding her actions. The cries of her crew mingled with the roar of weapons fire and explosions echoing through space, a symphony composed by desperation and hope intertwined. "Commander!" Dr. Chen called out urgently amid the chaos. "We've managed to destabilize several enemy ships. They're retreating." Elara's heart soared at this news. They were turning the tide. "Keep pushing forward. Don't let up." With each passing moment, more Devourer vessels succumbed to their assault, caught in a web woven by strategy and sheer willpower. The rift they had created pulsed ominously ahead, a testament to their ingenuity and determination, and soon enough it would become a graveyard for those who dared threaten existence itself. As victory loomed closer on the horizon like dawn breaking through darkness, Elara couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come since awakening from stasis, a journey marked by resilience forged across eons and now culminating in this momentous clash between hope and despair. "We will not falter," she declared fiercely as she led her crew into battle once more, each heartbeat echoing throughout humanity's shield like a war drum heralding humanity's resurgence among stars once more. In that moment filled with camaraderie and determination, their hearts beating as one, They knew they were not merely fighting for survival anymore, they were fighting for legacy, for every soul that had come before them and every one yet to be born among the stars.